I had always heard it called the Selland barn, but I guess if you are a Selland...
Yeah, it was just the barn. If you said the barn, everybody knew where it was.
Within like my friend group or even like the teammates and stuff, if I say the barn, people know what we're talking about.
It looks like a barn and smells like a barn, and there is still hay and horse stuff in the lower level. But up top is the loft of local legend.
There's just so many good memories here of whether it's like, me, Shelby, and my cousin Rachel beating each other up here. Like Christmases, we'd all be home at Grandma and Grandpa's and we'd come up here, glove up, coats on, a big family game of basketball.
We'd play Thanksgiving up here, we'd play over Christmas. It didn't matter how cold it was.
Sometimes in the summer it's better to come out like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock because it's not so hot. But yeah, it's always here.
For 50 years, this has been a practice gym and a gathering place and a sanctuary. And it started with Grandpa Doyle, who was a player in his day, scored 50 in a game one night for Letcher High School.
I played a little basketball and had some good times. Played a little bit at Augustana for 2-3 years until they got some really good players, and then I also fell in love, so I had to take care of that.
Love and family and tradition and time and history are all bonds that bind this barn together. The bleachers and the lockers came from the school in Woonsocket. The scoreboard is from an old gym somewhere in Minnesota. Brett rebuilt the floor at some point after a kid poked his foot through a weak spot in the old one. And Grandpa Doyle and his brother built the backboards.
We did the whole thing and we measured, everything, and it came out quite well.
He built these bang boards back in '51, and he had them in another barn, and that's where they grew up playing. And then about 1971 or so, he got them out at that barn and brought them over here so it'd be closer. We've been playing ball up here ever since.
Brett and his brother ruled this roost for many years, and the barn drew in kids from Woonsocket and Wessington Springs and Plankinton and Mount Vernon.
Sometimes kids came and we didn't know who they were, but they just wanted to play ball, and that was great.
When Shelby and Myah were old enough to play, Brett lowered one of the hoops so they could make some shots. And over the years, whether it was 100 degrees inside or so cold the ball wouldn't bounce, the girls would be here.
This is real barn pig.
True barn pig.
I'm gonna hit it off the backboard, off the post, and then it's gonna be a floater.
And we never pushed it on him. We just gave him the opportunity to play ball, and it didn't take him long to really love the game, and so it just grew from there.
Spent a lot of hours up here, just shooting shots, dribbling around, obviously playing against each other, but I think the biggest thing is just where I fell in love with the game, and every time you get back up here and put a few shots up, you just kind of remember like this is kind of where it started. This is why I fell in love with it.
I don't really remember a time that it wasn't, when it wasn't a big part of our life. So you come up here when you had a really good game and you wanted more, or if you didn't have a good game and you just wanted to make sure you knew how to make a free throw. And sat out that window a lot, just kind of relaxing, thinking about life. And so it's just kind of a nice place to be, I guess. It's home.
The Selland sisters were both All-State players in high school. Shelby was a 2-time All-Conference player at Augustana University, and Myah is the reigning Summit League Player of the Year at South Dakota State. And no, they didn't develop all of those skills in the barn, but this is where their pursuit of lofty goals began.
I did a lot of post moves up here, a lot of like trail threes, from the elbow. You can get a lot done up here.
Obviously it's not like super practical if you want to get a lot of shots up, or the gym is maybe a little more reasonable, but there's just something special and calming about this place that makes it fun to be in.
And it has always been about family, and Myah and Shelby have kept that going even now. Myah still is a player at South Dakota State, and Shelby as an assistant coach now with the Jackrabbit.
This has been Midco Sports Magazine, presented by Build Your Base with Beef Sports Nutrition and Training Program.